Hey, Chris Lindahl here, and I know we've only done 4 episodes of this podcast so far, but I already know that this is the most important one, especially if you've already inquired about or received a guaranteed cash offer. This is about something that happens all the time, and there's a reason I'm using the word time, because so many people make the mistake of not valuing their time the way they should. They start the guaranteed cash offer process, which is a really fast process, by the way, and then they give up, they disappear, and they waste so much time before they ultimately realize that they would have been so much better off locking in their guaranteed cash offer and accepting it right away. If you spend the next few minutes listening to this podcast, then your return on that time is going to be sky high. I'm not even kidding. So pour your coffee, start walking the dog, start your drive to or from work, and enjoy this very important episode. The longer you wait, the greater the pain. Hi, GCO podcast family, Chris Lindahl back with you. And this episode is specifically for those of you who have already contacted us about a guaranteed cash offer. Maybe you just filled out the online form. Maybe we've been to your house already. Maybe you're about to get your offer from us, or maybe you've gotten the offer and you're sitting on it. This episode is for you. And my goal is simple. I want to save you time and help you avoid regret. Now, if you've already contacted us about a guaranteed cash offer, you already know the value of time. You wouldn't have taken that step if you didn't already know that selling a house in its current condition for cash is so much faster than putting it on the open market. So congratulations on that. You're already miles ahead of most people. A part of you clearly sees the appeal of not wasting a minute on cleaning, decluttering, renovations, repairs, showings, open houses. I could go on and on. But what about the time between when you get your guaranteed cash offer and when you accept it? The truth is, people reach out to us all the time with a huge sense of urgency. They say, hey, I'm ready to go right now. I'm ready to move out of here, or I'm ready to sell my parents' house, this house I inherited, and I'm ready to get on to the next chapter of my life. Let's go. And then a funny thing happens. When it comes time to accept their guaranteed cash offer, their sense of urgency changes. They get scared. They get stuck. 3 months go by, 6 months, 9 months. And I'm telling you because I've seen it over and over again. As I say in the title of this episode, the longer you wait, the greater the pain. Now, don't get me wrong. This is normal human behavior. I totally get it. If you've contacted us about a guaranteed cash offer, this is a big moment for you. A property is a big deal, whether it's your house or maybe you're dealing with a parent or grandparent's house. It's huge. In fact, it can be overwhelming. For some people, they don't have an emotional tie to the house. It's just a property they need to deal with. For others, it's highly emotional. They experienced a lot of amazing memories there, and it's hard to let go. I've worked with all types of people, and here's a little secret. Even if you identify as being the non-emotional type, you still have some emotion tied to this property because it's already taking up your time. You might not feel sentimental about it, but what you don't want is to feel frustrated and annoyed because it's taking up so much of your time. So what's the number one reason why people sit on their guaranteed cash offer once they get it? What's the top reason why they start wasting time and letting the days, weeks, and months go by? I'll tell you, it's because they are being confronted with a very hard truth. They've overinflated the value of the house. I talked about this in episode 3 about inflated valuation syndrome, what I call IVS. We all think it's a seller's market when we sell a house, right? People with IVS use opinions, not facts. And it costs them. They say, I think the house is worth X. I'll only take this. My agent thinks it's worth fill in the blank. Meanwhile, the most recent market data, which is 100% based on fact, shows that the market is shifting, and maybe it's shifting fast. The smart sellers know this. They don't fight the market data. They embrace it, and they use it to make smart decisions. People with inflated valuation syndrome are usually driven by one thought. I don't want to leave money on the table. Maybe they start by trying to sell the house on the open market. Then what happens? It doesn't sell. They potentially lose a lot of equity, and they for sure lose a ton of time. They took a gamble and they lost. It's the same thing when you get your guaranteed cash offer and then you sit on it. I'll say it again. The longer you wait, the greater the pain. Chris Lindahl here. You know, everyone talks about how often they see my billboards, but I've noticed something else lately. Now that over 30,000 people have tapped our Guaranteed Cash Offer program, everywhere I go, I hear this.
I accept my Guaranteed Cash Offer.
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 We accept our Guaranteed Cash Offer.
Accept a Guaranteed Cash Offer on your house today at chrislindahl.com and start packing. A lot of this comes down to personality. In my Guaranteed Cash Offer book, I outline the 6 types of people who tend to get stuck and waste time, and maybe some of these resonate with you. Maybe you're an overanalyzer. You never feel like you have enough information, so now you're asking everyone you know in real estate to weigh in on your offer. Maybe you're a skeptic and you have a low level of trust in general. Maybe you're a foot dragger and you have a hard time making big decisions, which many people do. Maybe you're a wheeler dealer who always thinks a better deal is right around the corner. Maybe you're what I call a comfort zoner, and once you put yourself out there, you feel uncomfortable and retreat back to your happy place. Or maybe you're a decision by committee person. Does a home sale usually involve multiple people? Yes. But if you have this personality type, you always feel like you need to talk to just one more person, and that becomes your excuse to avoid making a decision. I'll say it again. The longer you wait, the greater the pain. And here's why. First, your Guaranteed Cash Offer isn't a number you negotiate. It's a simple yes or no. Plus, your offer has an expiration date because the market changes fast. The local or national economy can shift overnight. Things can happen in the neighborhood that drag property values down. Maybe that house down the street has been sitting on the open market for months and going through price reductions. All of that affects the value of a property, and it can pull your offer down fast. I've seen it happen over and over again. People get stuck. They don't lock in their Guaranteed Cash Offer right away. Then they come back to us months later and find that their offer is lower than it was before. And in the meantime, they're still dealing with all the stresses that made them reach out to us in the first place. Maybe it's financial stress. Maybe it's living in a house in disrepair. Maybe it's dealing with an inherited property or a divorce situation. Or maybe it's a rental property you're ready to get rid of. Or it's just about timing the sale of one house with the purchase of another. All the stresses are still there. The longer you sit on your offer, the longer they stay. In fact, they often get worse. And in the meantime, the bills still need to get paid. The mortgage, the utilities, the property taxes, all of it. The longer you wait, the greater the pain. Bottom line, if you've already started the Guaranteed Cash Offer process, you're going to feel so good once you finish it. If instead you're stuck and find yourself thinking things like, I need to sleep on it for one more night, I just need a little more information, or I just need to talk to one more person, that's understandable, but it's also risky because it puts you on the path to wasting some incredibly valuable time. The smart sellers know it. The people who've accepted their Guaranteed Cash Offers know it. Look at our reviews. They use words like easy, simple, fast. They talk about how great it was to work with our team. They talk about how our program was perfect for the life situation they faced. They talk about how they would recommend our program to others. And they're so glad that they didn't waste any more time. You know what they don't talk about? They don't talk about waiting, worrying, feeling stuck, and feeling regret. So I just want to leave you with this. What is this really all about? When you peel back all the layers, what's the true emotional underpinning of everything we're talking about here? I'll tell you what it is. It's time. Time is the most valuable thing in our lives. If you could trade places with someone with billions of dollars but only a few months left to live, you wouldn't do it. You just wouldn't. Nobody would. Because deep down, we all know the value of time. That's why when people say, I accept my Guaranteed Cash Offer, they feel such an incredible flood of relief. Because once you've closed and you can move on with your life, you can rest easy at night thinking this, wow, I sold a house, but I bought something even more valuable. Time. Speaking of time, my time is up. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it resonated with you and your unique situation. And I hope it ultimately helps you get unstuck or avoid getting stuck in the first place. I hope that was more than worth your time, because your time is incredibly valuable. If I can save one person from wasting weeks and months of their precious time sitting on their guaranteed cash offer, then it was more than worth my time to put that episode together. Remember, there's nothing better than saying those 6 magic words and not waiting too long to say them. I accept my guaranteed cash offer. See you next time on the Guaranteed Cash Offer podcast.